Today, we're diving into a novel called Not To, and at its heart is a character who really makes you question everything you thought you knew about love. He forces us to ask a pretty tough question.
So let's just start right there with the core idea of this whole story. I mean, think about it. What if someone loved you completely? They're totally present, totally attentive, but they don't actually need you to feel whole. Would that love still feel real to you?
We're going to explore that very question through the story of a man named Aniket. For him, love was a powerful, all-consuming presence, but it was never a promise for the future. And for the four women in his life, well, a love without that sense of need felt like something else entirely. So let's unpack these relationships to really get to the heart of the man at the center of it all. Okay, so first things first, we have to try and understand the central mystery of this guy, Aniket. Who is this man without need? You know, his best friend, Vikram, puts it perfectly. He says Aniket is like water. And that's such a great way to think about it. Aniket can completely fill any relationship he's in, taking its exact shape. But the moment that container, that relationship breaks, he doesn't shatter. He just flows away, completely unchanged. And that right there is the fundamental problem for everyone who tries to love him. So here's the thing, and it's absolutely crucial to get this. Aniket's issue isn't a lack of love. He loves deeply. His affliction, if you even want to call it that, is that he can't feel that desperate need or that fear of loss that so many of us, let's be honest, kind of depend on as proof that we're really truly wanted. He's already whole, all by himself, and that wholeness is the source of all the conflict. So let's look at our first example of this in action. We'll see how this plays out in his relationship with a woman named Shalini. This is where we first really see what the book calls the demand for fear. This is the last line Shalini ever writes to Aniket. I mean, just let that land for a second. She doesn't say, I deserve someone who loves me. She says she deserves someone who is afraid to lose her. For Shalini, love and fear were basically the same thing. You see, Shalini needed proof. She needed to see the hole in his life that she was supposed to fill. She had to know he was somehow incomplete without her. But the thing is, there was no hole. And his quiet contentment, his total lack of desperation, to her, it just felt like he was cold and distant. His freedom didn't feel like a gift. It felt like a silent, ongoing betrayal.
Okay, so now let's see how this same problem evolves in his longest relationship, his marriage to Meera. For her, it was all about a fundamental need for permanence. They were married for 19 years. 19. I mean, that's a lifetime built together, right? A shared past, a home, everything. And yet, even after all that time, that same fundamental disconnect was still there. This is what Meera tells him when she finally leaves. And wow, what a devastatingly honest thing to say. Aniket, ever the observer, always tried to understand her, to figure her out. But she wasn't looking for a philosopher. She just wanted a husband who would hold her. And that really gets to the heart of their conflict, doesn't it? The holding she was talking about. It wasn't just physical. It was the emotional security of knowing he was promising her a future. Aniket could only ever offer her the present moment, the now. But for Meera, a present moment with no guarantee of tomorrow, well, that felt like he wasn't there at all. So after Meera, you might be thinking, okay, the solution's obvious, right? He just needs to find someone exactly like him, someone who is also whole. Well, let's see what happens when he meets Ananya, and two supposedly whole people collide. And on paper, Ananya seems like the perfect match. She's this independent artist, and she claims she doesn't need anyone. She says she's complete, that she doesn't have that gap for someone else to fill. It sounds like the perfect solution, right? Two complete people coming together out of desire, not out of need. But then, you watch what happens. It starts with these little things that seem totally practical but carry so much symbolic weight. First, she gives him a key to her studio. Then she clears out a drawer for his clothes. And then comes the question that changes absolutely everything. What are we building? And just like that old familiar need for structure, for permanence, for a guarantee, it's back. The pattern starts all over again.
And Ananya has this brilliant realization at the end. She says she doesn't want to just peacefully orbit another self-sufficient planet. She needs a collision. She needs the friction that comes when two incomplete people crash into each other to make something new. The very thing that seemed like their greatest strength, their shared completeness, was actually the reason they couldn't work. So if fear isn't the answer, and permanence isn't the answer, and even finding your whole counterpart isn't the answer, what is? Well, this brings us to the final woman in our story, Kavya, who offers a totally different way of looking at it: love without wanting. And you can see the contrast so clearly here. On one side, you have what everyone else demanded from him: need, permanence, fear. But look what Kavya offered instead. Instead of needing him, she just wanted his company. Instead of a promise of permanence, she offered acceptance of how he was. And instead of fear, she brought this clear-eyed honesty about life and death. What they had, it wasn't a romance in the way we typically think of it. It was something quieter, maybe deeper. It was a companionship. It wasn't built on that desperate urge to complete each other, but on a shared, peaceful understanding that everything, including them, is temporary. And in that space, Aniket was finally truly understood. So, after all of that, what are we supposed to take away from this? The novel seems to be saying that the answer isn't about finding the right person. It's about asking the right question. And this is the question that haunts Aniket his entire life. What are you? People are always asking him this. And it's not just about his personality. It's a deeper question about the fundamental nature of his being, and maybe about our own too. And here's the novel's big, mind-bending idea. The answer to that question, what are you? It isn't a statement. It's not a definition. The answer is silence. The book argues that your true self isn't your personality or your memories or the roles you play. It's the silent, unchanging awareness that's watching all of that. What you're looking for is the awareness that is doing the looking. And so we end up right back where we started, with a question I'll leave with you. Is the whole point of love to find a permanent answer, something solid you can hold on to forever? Or is the real purpose to learn how to live together inside the beautiful, unanswerable mystery of it all?